What's up? What's up? What's happening? Javon Freeman back with another one. This one should be a quick one. Um, just want to start off this one by saying add me on Instagram at vb.o.m.experience. Uh, Send me emails. Emails is in the Instagram bio. Email me videos that you may want me to react to. All that good stuff. What else? What else? What else? Yeah. Like, share, comment, subscribe. Definitely going to keep going at it. I just want to keep this one as a chill one. I think this one's a good one to talk on. But yeah, let's get into it. Cool, we here. All right.
On is Anton from AntonDaniels.com. I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with me. Just here picking up a couple tools. Need some extension sets in order to get this battery holder out inside of the Challenger. Something draining my battery. Blah, 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 blah. You'll see that tomorrow. But I've been seeing a lot of people talking about making sure that they boycott Target. Target is the biggest one. Target and Walmart and all of these different places. How you doing? All of these different places and these retailers. And so basically they got this mental list of all of the places that black culture and black people are supposed to be boycotting. I even seen a couple white women join in. Now you know that white women always hijack the movement, the ones that are super liberal. That's what the whole civil rights hijacking of the movement became in the first place. That's why I got extended over to everybody, right? Because you've seen people now being designated as minorities, and it went from black people being liberated, which is one of the reasons why birthright citizenship came into place in the first place, is because it was actually for people who were born into this country whose parents were slaves, right? And
Absolutely
then
right.
birthright citizenship has then been hijacked to include basically anybody that come over into the country and decide that they want to have a child on American soil so that that child can then have citizenship, and then they can be
Oh, oh.
protected and they can say, oh my God, don't remove all families. And then that's the same thing that happened with the civil rights movement. It got hijacked by people that then included women in it so that they can have rights. And it's the same thing with feminism. Feminism hijacked the civil rights movement. Civil
Very
rights movement was also
disingenuous.
hijacked by the alphabet community movement. And so now you see all of these minorities, and then they made them one big group as a part of diversity, equity, and inclusion, and to make sure that you have a certain percentage of people, and they trying to justify it by saying, well, it's not just making sure that you hire jobs, it's to make sure we get product placement on the shelves all around us and all of this stuff. And so instead of us now getting to the point to where our ancestors wanted us to be on the same playing field, and what that really meant is that you had equal opportunity. It doesn't mean that you're automatically required to be successful. And so a lot of these brands that are on these shelves of these places that are a part of diversity, equity, and inclusion, they're not doing well. And part of it is just because it's a trash product or it's not resonating with the people, and that's just what happens in retail. They remove brands from shelves and they replace them with other brands, but for whatever reason, they're now being required to make sure that we have to keep people of color. And so we play an identity politics game in this whole situation. Don't mind me. This is
Best way to get rid of stinky dog breath, crunchy veg.
Ah, damn ads. Sorry. Take that back. Oh,
identity politics game
yeah.
in this whole situation. Don't mind me. This is what men do. For those of you that wasn't raised with a father, this is what men do. They come in to pick up one item or two items, and then they browse the whole store, and then they think of all of the different things that they need to work on.
I'll be honest, I do the same damn thing. I do the same thing. I sometimes I go in looking for just screws, and the next thing I know, I'm looking at uh washers, tri valves, um, PCP piping, yeah, just all kinds of stuff. And just thinking of all projects, and like, hey, you know what? I might need to build a table later on. I can come here, taking mental notes, little bookmarks, mentally. Just, thinking about, hey, I could come back. I can get the supplies here. Price don't look too bad. I could get it now. Is it worth it? Hardware. I'll be honest. The older I get, the hardware store really is like the Toys R Us for me. I love it in there. Oh, you got a new drill. How many RPMs? It has a torque function. Digital. Battery life. How fast does it charge? And it comes with drill bits, extensions. Let me see your socket wrenches. Like I just start going down the line. Saws, band saws. We have a deal on the industrial equipment. Could I use an industrial bandsaw right now? Anyway, let's get back into this.
On and what they can change, and they spend their lifetime inside a Home Depot and Lowe's. But back to the point is that now everybody is going to boycott, and nobody cares. Guess what's going to happen? People are still going to take trips. The other places that y'all decide that y'all want to patronize, they still owned by the same people that y'all think own the other places. Why? Because most of them are publicly traded companies. And that means that I'm invested in them, and you're invested in them, and your 401k is invested in them, and your IRA is invested in them. Yep. Because they're all a part of these funds. So then you say, well, I don't want to support all of these American companies because they're now removing diversity, equity, and inclusion. Who cares? Nobody cares. Life goes on. You can develop all of the different companies, and then you're going to go and order all your products from Temu and give it over there to China. Or order them from Amazon, who's now created a Temu competitor, according to what my wife has told me. Then it doesn't matter. The fact of the matter is, people that are perpetual victims, meaning that no matter what happens, and they say, listen, everything should be merit-based. If you're good enough, then you should work at it and you'll win. And I've even told people, I said, listen, you don't want to be that guy. You don't want to be the person that opens up a business and say, oh my God, I'm a black-owned business. Because then that means that you alienate 86% of the population, and you want to be a business that sells a great product, not one that is selling a product based off of your identity. Because if people are only buying it because you're black, then that means that we don't know whether or not it's a really great product or a trash product. Or if people are only buying it because it's cheap, how do we know where it's come from? You know what I'm saying?
He makes a very great point. I'll never forget when I started selling my shirts at the time. It was just on a whim. People close to me were like, you got to market it as a black-owned product. I'm just looking at them. I'm like, no. And now you also got to be a little wise to, be appreciative of the information as it comes with it. You got to sit there and think about it. Are you doing what I'm doing? No. I'm not going to advertise it like that because now I'm sitting there shrinking my pool of possible income, projected income. This is, betting on myself can be applied to anybody. It doesn't matter your race, color, creed. It don't even matter if you speak this language. Anybody can believe in themselves. I 100% agree. And the whole DEI thing, again, it's another political move. It's another way that, elites in the establishment can perpetuate divides. Again, if you look at older videos that I've done, or a couple videos ago, I haven't done too many yet. At this rate, I'm gonna have a lot of them. But yeah, you look at some older videos, you see, where race divide was put in place, and then the whole DEI stuff. It further perpetuates that. And like he said, when it's based off of merit, you're being judged off of performance, your willingness to learn, your degree of competence, and then also inevitably your character. You can be qualified as something, you can know how to do something very well, but if your character is shitty, companies won't deal with you because now you're not a good fit for the environment. And that's a whole nother currency within itself, and that's where the world is headed. That's inevitable. Again, with all the information that's in the world, you got to start putting the pieces together. The intangible is just as important as the tangible. So, I agree wholeheartedly. And having that victim mindset is just going to keep holding you back more and more and more and more. don't get me wrong. It's not to say that there aren't people out here that will, you know, do the negative thing to get ahead. I'm not saying that. What I am saying is sitting there acting as if you're not in control of certain aspects of your life. That is a big no-no, and I don't stand for that whatsoever. And at a certain point, you gotta deal with your consequences, regardless. Your consequences are going to come. And like I gotta trademark this: to not make a move is a move. So what's your plan? You know, I'm gonna have to trademark that. Uh, but yeah, like when you don't make a move, there's a consequence for that. When you don't make a decision, there's a consequence for that. If you're just sitting down all day, every day, or if you cheating and say you going to a job, but you keep sneaking in snacks all the time, that's gonna add up. It's not like you getting up, working out, going running every morning, or if you sitting there and what else? You sitting there every time you go to a job, you supposed to be the trustee, the financial trustee, and you skimming off a couple dollars. After a while, them couple dollars is going to turn into a couple hundred. Them couple hundred is going to turn into a couple thousand. You know, good at that point. So the consequences are always there, whether you know it or not. The question is, are they going to come back fast? That's not up for us to decide. But let's get back into this.
I'm saying, like, that's the whole reason behind so many history lessons here, so many things to address in so little time.
So
The
little
fact of the
time.
matter is, I think, roll with me on this one, I believe that most of these people truly hate themselves.
Oh, don't get me. Listen. I agree wholeheartedly. You try to get a person, tell a person to sit in front of a mirror. If you set a person in front of a mirror and there's a door behind them, a mirror in front of them, they're not tied to the chair, and their only rule is you're not going to get anything in the end, but you might get a prize. You have to sit here and look at yourself, and you can't break contact with the mirror. A lot of people couldn't go an hour, couldn't even go an hour. A lot of people can't sit with their own thoughts. They don't like themselves. They're always nitpicking at their own insecurities. And that's like, well, you're not supposed to be perfect. And if you could choose to nitpick at your insecurities, why don't you nitpick at the things you're good at and just rely on that? A lot of people do not like themselves. And then they sit there and they also understand that they don't even like the identity that they have. A lot of people, oh my gosh, at 24 years old, you wouldn't believe the number of grown adults I've come across that have lived over half a century that are sitting there and trying to justify to the world the decisions they made, and they wake up every day and behave as if they don't agree with the decisions they made. Can't even make it up.
I think that they hate America. I do. They take from the system, they don't pour back into it, they complain about the very things that they benefit from. Everybody thinks that they deserve a handout. Everybody is against them when you're not winning, and even when you're winning, people are still more against you. And it's all of this negative rhetoric and complaining and talking about whether or not you're going to leave the country and you.
At what point does a salad become a zalad?
I don't want to hear no zesty shit like that. Fucking change salads around and shit. Just run it back.
And talking about whether or not you're going to leave the country, and you keep threatening and threatening and threatening. And you know what I found from people that actually do shit is that they don't have to talk about it. They don't make an announcement. Like, even when it comes to consecration, people that leave, they don't announce that they're leaving. They don't like, hey guys, I'm leaving the chat because I don't like what he said. They just leave. You just don't hear from them again. And they disappear.
I swear to God, that's really the difference between doers, those that walk the walk, and those that just talk about the walk. There are so many instances in my life where, people project, have this idea about you, this, that, and the third. They have this idea about themselves, but when it comes time to be short on your breath, your muscles are aching, you're tired, you're mentally fatigued, you're sweating, and you don't know how to take another step, a lot of people will sit there and say, I'm done. And they'll sit there and talk about it, as opposed to just falling flat out on their face. And if you was really done, there would be nothing to say about it. You just be doing what you got to do. So, man, the victim Olympics. A lot of people. That's what I've come to learn too. A lot of people don't really want to be successful. They just want to sound successful. This is what the whole DEI stuff is. They want to be a part of the conversations, but don't not actually contribute to the conversation. It's just crazy, man. And oh man, generations to come, like this alpha, beta, gamma. So generations beta and gamma, they're gonna look at these other generations like, my gosh, who the fuck are you? Oh, excuse my language, but you can't make this up. You genuinely cannot make this up. It's so bad. So many people are sitting here putting on a front to keep up with the Joneses, and the Joneses don't even exist.
And then you get more people. I don't see people losing followers. I don't see people's subscribers going down. If people that rock with you, they're just gonna rock with you. If people don't want to rock with you, then they don't have to make an announcement. They don't have to get a posse together to say, oh my God, we're no longer supporting. Are they promoting growing trees? We're no longer supporting this group of people because they don't support diversity, equity, and inclusion. If you
Nah, that caught my attention too. Hold on. They got grow lights up in there. They supporting that. Listen, let's stay on topic.
they don't support diversity, equity, and inclusion. If you had to get your job or you had to get your leg up just based off of diversity, equity, and inclusion, then that means that you wasn't good enough to do it in the first place.
I swear to God, that's fucking facts. I mean, it's, again, DEI, diversity, equity, inclusion, is just another long way of saying politics, playing politics, and everywhere you look, playing politics. Now, granted, companies can do what they want, especially if they're privately owned, but if you're the owner of a company, you can do what you want. If that's the game you want to play, it's the game you want to play. But a lot of people are, fence hoppers. Yeah, that's all right. The majority of people are fence hoppers. Even those that have money, and it's no shot to them, but we see it. Like, okay, you can take Mark Zuckerberg. No shot at Mark Zuckerberg, but he bent the knee to the Biden Harris administration. Now he's sitting there trying to come clean. He's kissing a ring to the Trump administration. Yeah, so it's just another roundabout way of politics. You can even ask, you can ask men when it comes to sports. Don't get me wrong. When athletes are young, that's where you see the politics. You'll choose somebody that's taller over somebody that actually has God-given ability sometimes. But then when the person that has God-given ability stops using it, they lose it. So now it's like, hey, it justifies what's going on. But then now, it's the value system. Once the person is like, all right, I'm already done, do they truly move on from it? Who knows? But, it's the name of the beast. And then again, even with sports, those are still companies, they're businesses. Somebody owns it and they can do what they want. But again, if you're the best, you can supersede all those politics too. So who knows, man? But again, let's finish this out. We've got 2 minutes left.
That's the only reason that you got your placement. I don't need nobody else to do what I do. And more importantly, I love this country. I love this country. It ain't perfect. I don't know what is. My family isn't perfect, but it doesn't mean that I don't love them. I love them. And we used to be a country where nobody could say anything about your people except for you. You know what I'm saying? It's like I could say something about my brother, but you can't. Not if you're not from here. We advocate more for people that's not even from here than for people that pour into the system. That's crazy. I seen an Asian woman, an Asian adopted woman, talking about, she was adopted by her white parents, talking about how she don't like her parents and all of this other type of stuff. You ungrateful hussy. Get your life together. We don't have no strong households because we ain't had no fathers, and we ain't had, I'm gonna be honest with you, it wasn't enough discipline in those households, and that's why you see so many people running in the Victim Olympics, thinking that somebody owes them something. Everybody keep talking about what they deserve. You standing on the shoulders of giants, of people that actually died for your right to do the things that you're doing, and you don't even know your history. You don't even know why they did it. You don't even know where these laws came from in the first place. You standing on the shoulders of giants running in the Victim Olympics, and you ain't never did shit in this country, for this country, or by this country.
Mm-hmm.
just not going for it, bro. I think these people hate this country. I think the enemy of this country a lot of times is living within. They were.
I mean, he's absolutely right. He's absolutely right. Uh, and a lot of people too, they take one thing and just run with it because again, a lot of people don't do the work. They don't take the time to learn stuff. They don't learn the history. So they hear somebody say something in real time and then they go off and use it as clickbait. Like I never forget being in high school. I would tell people, yeah, I don't like America, but they would never ask me why. And then I would, if on the off chance they did say why, I would say, well, it's because of this, that, and the third. And then I will also preface too, it's not because I don't like the lands of America. My ancestors been here long before any colonizer got here. Yes, I'm gonna die for these lands. I'm gonna die for this country. The point I'm making is that there's so much wrong with it. I don't like what's going on within, and a lot of people would just tune all that out and just say, oh, he doesn't like America. I don't like America. It's like, well, that's completely disingenuous. That's not true at all. I love America. I just don't like the BS that's going on because I understand the BS that's going on. I understand the games that are being played. I understand how people will take advantage. People come from other countries, other nations. It's not like wars just aren't waged anymore because times are good and because nobody is physically imposing on you. Shoot, people can wage wars psychologically, emotionally, atomically. Like, man, don't. And he's also absolutely right too. Being around so many people that don't have fathers, oh man. And I think this is another reason why I personally didn't, to a strong degree, get along with a lot of my peers. I got a handful, if I could count them on my hand. Um, but it's when you have that disciplinarian there that's actually going to stand on business, tell the truth, and is willing to say my character is worth more than money. That right there, it shows you a lot about life and how life can be lived and what comes from life and what happens when you put your best foot forward. And you also learn a lot about what not to do and what to do. And you use your brain a lot more. You're not just running off your emotions immaturely. There's a time and place for everything. When you're taught the principles of life, more than likely would have to be somebody that lives by those same principles. But hey, what do I know? I think this was great. Shout out to Anton Daniels. Credit will be given. It will be in the description below. This was fun. Again, add me on Instagram at the.o.m.experience, here on YouTube as well at the.o.m.experience. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Don't be afraid to hit the cash app. This was fun. Hasta luego. Ciao.